KTRS.com.
Good morning and welcome. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. We're excited. Steve Savard in the house. Great guest list. Greg Willard. Gerard Kraft, one of the great restaurateurs of all time in St. Louis, is going to join us at 11 o'clock for our weekly special. And then we'll talk a little golf and life with Jay Delsing, who's going to be a part of the Stiefel Charity Classic in Norwood Hills Country Club. Connor McCarthy in the house. Steve, great to be with you. How are you, sir?
Good. How was Gary Player?
Oh,
I was envious yesterday. I loved working with Jill and Connor. You had a pretty good assignment, though. Gary Player.
Really neat. One quick little story is he had this great round at the Bank One Senior Classic, and he said in the press room afterwards, you know, I think I love my driver more than I love my wife right now. So he gets home that night, or a few days later after the tournament, and his wife has his driver wrapped in negligee and says, sleep with that driver. So he was hilarious. Really a lot of fun.
That's great.
I'm really glad you're in, because last night I just wrapped up watching the Dallas Cowboys documentary on Netflix, America's Team. It is so spectacular. Monique, who's not a big football fan, did not miss a second of it. In fact, today she woke up and she said, boy, I'm really happy that Jerry and Jimmy patched it up at the end. But anyway,
are you serious?
Yeah. It's okay. But I thought of you because they did a big thing on the White House where, like, Michael Irvin and star players had this house right next to the complex where they'd bring in strippers and do drugs. And I swear to God that they had this white shot, and in one of the windows, I thought I saw you with a big Bob Marley joint.
I knew where you were going with this.
You remember the Cowboys?
They didn't even know. The back end of the guys who are just trying to fight for a spot, they don't even know. They're not invited to the White House. I didn't know of the White House. I've not seen this documentary.
Oh, Steve.
You know, I was there in 86 and 87. 87's the year I suffered the neck injury. So I was there at the end of the Landry era. Became a Cowboys fan again when Jimmy took over. I was working in El Paso. Oh. But I'm not a Jerry Jones fan. I could not care less about the Dallas Cowboys. I have no interest. My two favorite teams are ever playing the Rams and the Cowboys on a given Sunday.
I understand it. In fact, when I complimented it, people said, how can you support him?
No, I get what you're saying. It was interesting. And I don't really believe, Jim, they say they've made up. I really don't believe they'd actually do something for each other at this point.
Yeah, I'd say they're at least cordial now.
They're cordial, which is a long way from where they were.
Yeah.
And if Jerry Jones hadn't popped off and thought that, by the way, they haven't come close to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
since Jerry Jones has decided to make every decision, they would have won 4 in a row. They won 3 out of 4 as it is. They won 1 with a figurehead coach in Barry Switzer. Mm. They weren't prepared to play the NFC Championship game in '94 out there. They fell behind 21-0. They would have won 4 in a row. It would have been the all-time dynasty in the NFL, I believe, had Jimmy stayed there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I can hear them in the back. Hey, Savard and Cusimano have turned this into a sports show.
Agnes from Edwardsville will be texting in the near future, I'm sure. All right, we are the home of Missouri football, though, and we're excited that the broadcast begins tonight on the Big 550 KTRS. Connor, we have a long pregame show.
Yeah, I think the pregame actually starts in about 20 minutes here. We're going to have to get off the air early.
Well, we are a sports. Apparently we are a sports talk show.
Connor, how about this? When the game is over, say at 9:30, how long does this postgame? This is the longest postgame show ever.
It's long. It's shorter than the pregame, though.
Okay.
I think it'll normally go about an hour. Yeah. Like an hour and a half,
we had
maybe?
3-hour pregames before Rams game.
Oh, that's right.
We had 3 hours. They'd start at 9 for a noon game.
You know what's pretty good entertainment?
You got to sell those spots.
And I'm sure, Connor, you being a Mizzou guy would do it. Gabe DeArmond's postgame show, this is after our show is over. His is kind of taped. To get some of those phone calls of like Psychotic Tiger fans, even if they win 40-0, is really great. Did you ever take some of the calls, or were you just did the play-by-play and moved on, or did you do the postgame show?
There was a time when I did postgame. The first 2 years before I was on the broadcast in '98, '99. Before I was play-by-play guy, I was in the postgame, and then there was 1 year where we participated for a while in the postgame, and then Jack said no. Jack said
I've had enough.
Jack Snow said no. We're not doing that.
All right, let's talk a little food. You were in a really great restaurant last night?
Yeah, I was going to save this for opening dialogue.
Oh, that's fine.
There's a tie to it. I want to say this though. I don't know if it's true or not. You're over there interviewing Gary Player yesterday while I'm here interviewing your guy Tarek about the movie Clueless, which I understand you would not.
I didn't.
You
say
would
that.
not stand
He used
for
his veto. I
review.
believe.
That's bad reporting.
You not review.
Very
By the way,
clever.
Tarek seems way too well-adjusted and nice to be on any assignment desk in a top 25 television station.
That is the truest statement you've ever made.
And I understand you drive him absolutely insane.
I get on him. We got to get Cardinals postgame. No, but I tell you what, of all the assignment editors we ever had, he's the guy that has the highest percentage of helping out sports. It's still low, but
Of course, it's low. It's always low.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to fight, but I said to him, I gave him every opportunity to throw you in the bus, and he would not. He's a good man, much better than you.
No, he's the best. And I don't know why we don't utilize him on TV. I mean, we got a lot of time in the morning to tape a segment because have you ever heard anybody more erudite about movies?
Well, he did 20 minutes on. I didn't think it was possible on the movie Clueless. Of course, as I said, it wasn't in my. In '95, as a 31-year-old single male, it wasn't even on my to-do list. I've never seen more than 5 minutes of it. But I thought I played along okay yesterday, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I looked up at the big stars who were in the movie. I tried to contribute.
Well, we can't just do the Poseidon Adventure and
With the great Shelley
Westerns
Winters and
and-
Ernest Borgnine.
Joe was pushing for beaches for next week.
Don't
So I've overruled it. So, all right. We'll
No,
take a
you'll bring me back for that
That's
one.
true, exactly. We'll go over Die Hard. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Steve Savard in the house. The opening dialogue when we come back.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer from Miller Furniture. You know, Miller Furniture is that fourth generation family owned business that sells almost all of their furniture American made. And you know that they always have good quality furniture at a good price, but the price has just gotten a lot better because they are having a big sale now through May 27th. You can take up to $800 off select mattress sets from Tempur-Pedic or Stearns & Foster, and everything is tax-free, tariff-free through May 27th. You can save on sales tax on their in-stock purchases plus select custom orders. It is a great deal. And as always, since most of their furniture is American made, you don't have to worry about the tariffs. Plus, you can take 25% off a Chatham & Wells luxury mattress and an adjustable base. Just save on the whole thing. Visit millerfurniture.com to see their selection and learn more, or better yet, visit them at one of their convenient locations: Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis at the Meadow Shopping Center, Ellisville off Manchester Road, or the flagship location in Belleville, Illinois.
Andy from Hats and Stuff. The summer's heat is starting to break and the kids are back to school, and we're gearing up for an exciting fall with a great selection of NFL and NHL hoodies, ball caps, and so much more. We still have great deals on Cardinals and Mizzou merchandise for the entire family at fantastic prices. We have a huge selection of St. Louis-inspired graphic tees, all at $10. And don't forget about the cowboy hats. Located in Westport Plaza, across from the Drunken Fish and the Kobe Steakhouse, and the Soulard Farmers Market on Saturdays. Hats and Stuff. Good stuff at really great prices.
Hey, it's John Carney. A lot of conversations with the folks over at Allen Roofing, pretty much asking advice, because I know a lot of people got smacked by that storm, and he had some great advice for people to think about. First off, be careful of who you talk to when you're going to get some work done. Make sure there's an agreement and the scope of work is laid out in that contract. Also, as you can imagine, a lot of contractors are busy. Give them some time, and you know what? Allen Roofing will come put a tarp on your roof at no charge, even if you don't use them when you get the roof repaired. Also, check the Better Business Bureau, see what the reviews are for contractors that you deal with, and also remember, insurance companies allow up to an entire year from the date of loss to file a claim. So you've got time to get those repairs done and that replacement done. Don't rush it. Just a few tips from the people that know roofing and repairs better than anyone. It's Allen Roofing, online at aroofing.net.
For over 50 years, Massa's has been a local, family-owned restaurant known for delicious Italian food the whole family can enjoy. Visit Massa's St. Charles for daily lunch specials and bottomless mimosas during Sunday brunch. And remember, now's the time to book the new banquet room for your holiday party. Call 636-925-2961 or visit massasofcourse.com and click on St. Charles for more information. And now's the time to book your holiday party in the new banquet room. It's Massa's, of course.
Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
Yeah, they're on the med, and these medications are used, these GLP-1s, for reducing inflammation in your body. I get so many folks that are like, wow, I don't have the knee pain. I don't have the...
Because once you start losing weight, all these other things naturally happen to you in a positive way. Not just talk about the deals for KTRS listeners at stlmedweightloss.com.
All KTRS listeners, they get $50 to $100 off their first month. And what's beautiful about it too, hey, I get it. The economy, what we just had, guys, things are difficult right now, but we make the plan work for you. We have financing options. We make this work for you because we realize how important it is to get down in your weight, get your confidence back, and really start feeling like the old you.
Call stlmedweightloss.com and ask Dr. Joe. stlmedweightloss.com.
You're selling your home, and I want to buy it. This is Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I am ready to pay top dollar for your home. No contingencies, no inspections, no monkey business. I buy your home no matter the condition or location, and you walk away with cash. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867, 314-283-0867, or at robangproperties.com. That's ROBANG properties.com.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS. Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, to let our listeners know, we are going to be talking food. We're going to be talking politics. We'll be talking life. So this is not a sports show. Okay, here we go. Thought one. When is the best time to get married? I mean, the time of the year. October is now the leader in the clubhouse. According to one report, 17% of the weddings were in October. And it does make sense. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. However, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is fed up. Here's the quote. This thing about people getting married on Saturdays during college football season is a scourge. Mr. President, there's 7 other months of the year people can get married. He told the president to take action. So the question for all of the men and all of the women listening, what is the best time to get married? And does Marco Rubio bring up a legitimate point? I know he's joking about it. What do you think?
What month did you get married in?
I got married, I should know this quick, June.
Same here.
Yeah, I think it's changing now. It used to be like that was kind of the month, or May, June.
Well, if you live in the Midwest,
Yeah.
fall is beautiful, and you get better weather. Our weather was absolutely horrific on June 11th of 2000.
Was it like steamy?
We were having it outside in the patio, and it blew through. A storm blew through, and then it was the steamiest. It was like subtropical weather.
But
By the way, speaking of marriage and whether they last or not, on this day in 1986, the 15-year marriage of Prince Charles and Lady Diana ended.
this was
Just an aside.
Okay. All right. Good stuff.
Not to be negative, but my first thought here, listen, I'm a routine guy. So I've fallen into this routine living in Springfield. When I come back, I stay with my mother-in-law. Shout out to my mother-in-law. Don't have to do it. She's not listening probably.
Okay.
Shout out to Kay Englesman. These horror stories about your in-laws. I've been lucky, man. I've had a great mother-in-law. So we have a little routine. I take her to dinner. When I'm there, I stay at her house. She makes me breakfast in the morning. We've had a fabulous dinner at my new favorite place out there near Lake St. Louis, the Meadows, BC's Kitchen. I will just tell you this. Do you like
Kitchen.
gumbo?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I'm a Creole food guy. I would be 300 pounds if I lived in New Orleans. Best gumbo I've had outside of New Orleans.
This is in Lake St. Louis.
At the Meadows
And,
Shopping Center.
How far away would that?
Frank, every once in a while it's okay to venture out and cross the bridge. It's okay.
I love
St. Charles County.
Hey,
In fact, I'm going to be a new resident as of next week of St. Charles County.
Congratulations,
in
you are
O'Fallon.
buying out there.
Yeah.
We went to the Greg. No, what did I say? I was going to say Greg Warren. No, we went to the movie of John O'Leary at the St. Charles Theater. Have you been in that mall area where the movie theater is, and there's a Cafe Napoli,
Yes.
and there's a bunch of restaurants and a comedy club,
Really great.
hotels. I mean, you could stay there for the rest of your life. It has all of your needs. So I'm very impressed.
That's all of my needs. I'm not sure they would meet all of your needs.
All right, let's go to thought 2. So one time, Steve, I was in Pete Rose's basement in Cincinnati. I was working in Lexington, and I asked him, how did you get to 4,000 hits if you weren't blessed with great size, strength, or speed? Never forget the answer. He said, but I was blessed with the gift of hard work. And he said, it is a gift. It was inside me the day I was born. Fast forward to yesterday, Norwood Hills Legends Luncheon at the Stiefel Charity Classic. And I'm with Gary Player, top 10 golfer of all time. Professional wins 159. He's itty bitty, Steve, 5'6", 150 pounds when he played. And he did it just like Pete Rose. And I recounted the story that when I was in Lexington, Kentucky, and he had won the Bank One Senior Classic, or maybe that wasn't the year he won it, but I was on doing live shots, and he was in the bunker practicing long after his round was over, and a guy approached him. And I'll never forget this exchange. Heard it word for word. Mr. Player, I would give anything to be able to hit a golf ball like you. And he was polite with the man. And then he said, no, you wouldn't, sir, because to be able to hit a golf ball like me, you have to hit till your hands bleed. And then when they stop bleeding, you hit again. And I'm wondering, and to take this out of sports, what would you rather have? Like the natural gifts where it all comes easy for you, or would you rather be a grinder and just have to work a lot longer and a lot harder because you don't have the natural gifts?
Good question. I think the latter.
Really?
I'm more familiar with the latter.
So am I.
Having to work, I was off the radar at D2 school in the mid-'80s. You think that was easy getting an NFL contract? I promise you it wasn't. That kind of stuff. I was always the low man, I was overlooked and all that stuff. I understand completely.
Broadcast ability, I think you were more of a natural at it than I was. You were kind of blessed with a little bit more natural.
I do think we both have work ethic. I mean, you don't. Yeah. I went off to Billings, Montana for $12,000, then to El Paso, then to Hartford. I paid my dues and worked my way up.
Yeah.
But I learned from a lot of great people. And as you know, as soon as you get to a bigger market, you have to raise your game.
Yeah.
Because you recognize, hell, I got here and Doug Vaughn was here, and I was like, I'm the sports director, and this guy's 10 times better than I am right now at this stage in my career. So you better pick it up.
So 84126 on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line. What would you rather be? I mean, I know everybody wants to have success, but would you rather have the great natural ability where it's a little bit easier and you don't sweat it as much, or would you rather have to be a grinder? Give me your thoughts on that. All right, Steve.
Quick follow-up here. My second thought, sports. We're not going to get any deeper into sports. I just want to wish everybody whose teams are kicking off this weekend in college football. I'm here this afternoon or this morning because Jill Farmer is in Kansas City watching the Nebraska Cornhuskers play the Cincinnati Bearcats.
All she does is care about sports.
She's a sports. She drives you crazy, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Mizzou opens the season tonight at Central Arkansas. By the way, don't sleep on Central Arkansas. I don't know how good they are this year. I've seen them. They're usually a quality playoff level FCS football program.
You're the first person to give insight on it. I don't think anybody's looked at that.
Well, I've seen them playing Missouri State the last few years and all that. I don't know how good they are this year. Missouri should win, but I'm just saying it's not Sisters of the Poor. By the way, Sisters of the Poor have a new coach this year, and they're going to be
Connor
tough.
Spread?
It was 36.5.
And you leaning one way?
It's a high number. I got to back my Tigers, but it's a high number.
All right, so we know what.
And also my Northwest Missouri State Bearcats kick off the season tonight at 4th-ranked Minnesota State. So good luck to everybody whose football teams are kicking off this weekend.
Can you ever remember an opening week where you have a game as anticipated as Texas and Ohio State?
Not very often.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. It's a great way to open the season.
And it's the first time.
Unless you're Ohio State and Texas.
Exactly.
It might cost you a national championship at the end of the year.
And it's the first time a preseason number one, I think, has ever been an underdog in week one.
That's crazy.
That's just crazy.
That's wild.
Okay, thought three, kind of a potpourri. I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen two of them now. The fentanyl commercial, and they start by saying it's like playing Russian roulette. They show these high school kids that look young and vibrant and healthy, and one is celebrating a birthday, and she says, it turned out to be my last birthday. And they show a high school basketball player missing out on his career because he dies of fentanyl. I think it's called makefentanylfree.com. It's powerful. They should show this in every high school in the country. This thing is just exploding. A few more quick thoughts. I want Sam Horn to win the quarterback spot. I'd probably bet against it. No reason to feel sorry for a 22-year-old who signed with the Dodgers for $500,000, and per the Washington Post, could be earning seven figures at Mizzou too, which I'm not sure if that's correct. Who knows? But it would be just kind of a shame, Steve, if he never gets a chance to be a college football quarterback as a starter. He gets the second half tonight. We'll see what happens. And as I said with McGraw earlier, if this truly is an open competition and this is going to be the final test, I don't want it to be like Tony La Russa with Royce Clayton and Ozzie Smith, where you say it's an open competition, Ozzie outplays you, but Royce gets to be the starter. And finally, did you see the video of the guy in Georgia who got arrested for public indecency?
No, thankfully.
No, this is bad. He ordered DoorDash, and he answered the door to his house naked. And if you see the guy, he should also have been charged with causing trauma to the DoorDash person. It was an ugly sight, and the police had to arrest him, but what a weird story.
My final thought is this: on this day in 2005, Katrina reached peak intensity in the Gulf of Mexico. And that day or the day after, I always remember when I actually understood how bad things were going to get in New Orleans. We were in Detroit for the last preseason game of the year in 2005. I was in the hotel room on a Friday morning, and I'm watching CNN, and they're live reporting, and I said, wow, this is bad. We're used to seeing tornadoes. I mean, hurricanes hit the Gulf Coast of Florida, weave in and out, lose intensity over land. This one unleashed Lake Pontchartrain, and it burst. 80% of New Orleans was flooded. It was unbelievable. I'll never forget understanding. I think that day really drove home, even though it was already a 31 or 32-year-old man, it drove home the idea that, or 41-year-old man, that you don't win against Mother Nature.
Well said. Good thoughts. All right, got a lot on the table. 84126. You want to react to the opening dialogue? When we come back, he's one of our favorite guest, Professor Greg Warren.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Temperatures ticking just a little higher today and Friday, but hey, we're still cooler than normal for late August, and humidity is still comfortably low. It's a mix of sunshine and clouds today, a high of 84, light breeze out of the west and southwest. Into the 70s this evening and mostly clear, very, very nice, down to 62 for the low early Friday in the city of St. Louis. 86 and partly cloudy for a warmer Friday, but the holiday weekend continues to look fantastic. We'll be dry with lows near 60 and highs in the low 80s. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer, and we knew it was going to happen. Those temperatures spiked. We got into the 90s, and we pretty much didn't have a choice. You had to turn on the air conditioning at your home, even if you've been holding out for a while. And you know, as our friends at Premier Heating and Cooling have reminded me many times, that you can take your risk and turn it on and hope that over the winter months nothing went awry or no sticks got into the fan or any of those issues. But you're always going to be better off having a professional come out and do a full clean and check on your air conditioning unit. Of course, the laws have changed with Freon and all those kinds of things as well. And it's just really more important than ever to have an expert make sure that your air conditioning unit is going to be up for handling what will always be a brutal St. Louis summer, because we know that's what happens in the summertime. It gets hot and we need our air conditioning units. All of the technicians at Premier Heating and Cooling have excellent training for almost every make and model out there. And if your air conditioner has done its time, so to speak, and it's time for a new one, they are the most experienced American Standard customer care dealer in the St. Louis and St. Charles area. They can work with you on financing to get you an efficient unit that's going to keep you cool all summer long. PremierHeatingCooling.net or 636-916-1122.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with two locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
JF Electric Company, Inc. seeks assistant project manager, Edwardsville, Illinois, to manage electrical construction projects. Highly involved with the bid process, often contributing information and recommendations on the bid itself. Proactively assists PMs with managing electrical construction projects from winning the bid to completing the work. Helps establish project objectives and lays out the project plan in accordance with contract specifications. Identifies, applies for, obtains, and maintains all applicable permits as directed by PM. BS or equivalent in engineering or construction management. Ability with prior leadership role. Adhere to a schedule and reliably show up for all scheduled shifts on time. Attention to detail. Computer proficiency. Primavera or ability to learn Primavera within 90 days. Resumes to J. Foster, 200 Lakefront Parkway, Edwardsville, Illinois, 62025.
Electricity is very important because if you don't have electricity, you're sitting in the dark in more ways than one. And when the lights go out for one last time, maybe, just maybe, you want a whole home generator. Well, that's where Michael Baldy comes in because Michael Baldy can do that. He's putting in a whole home generator for a friend of mine on the hill. Whether you live on the hill or a brand new home, at some point you're going to need some electrical help, and that's where Michael Baldy comes in. He's been an electrician since 1996, and he has a full team of electricians who will help you every single step of the way, whether it's a whole home generator, maybe some extra plugs for the Christmas lights, maybe it's something in the basement, something in the attic, maybe the garage, doesn't matter. Whether it's an old Victorian home or a brand new commercial building, indoor or out, Michael Baldy, the electrician, has got to be on your phone. Put him on your speed dial, 314-968-9999, 314-968-9999. You can thank me later. Michael Baldy, BaldyElectric.com.
All right, you recognize the music. He's our favorite guest. He's Greg Willard. He joins the Frank and Jill show, Frank Cusimano and Steve Savard. Good to see you, sir. How are you?
Good morning to both of you, and welcome to be on for the first time with Steve.
Good to be here with you.
Good. You used to second guess his classes at SLU. You
Of
thought
course.
they had a slant. Yeah. I'm glad you guys have.
Right. Well, my dad was a SLU grad, and so he told me to get on it. So.
All right, we got a lot to talk about. How about this? 81% of Americans say that crime is a major problem. But the question is the way Trump is attacking it, will this end up being a positive thing for him? Like the transgender thing ended up being like an 80-20 thing. What do you think about this?
History tells us that his efforts to get at the crime problem will be viewed positively, whether it's 55-45, 90-10, will remain to be seen. But we can go back in history and time again, presidents who made an effort, to use your term, Frank, presidents who have tried to get at the crime problem, goodness, all the way back into the late 1800s, that generally has been received well at the time. Therefore, I think he will be viewed positively. History also teaches us that if there are criticisms, it's often after the fact.
Yeah, were you stunned Muriel Bowers, the Washington, D.C. mayor, actually kind of endorsed what is happening in D.C.?
No, for a couple of reasons. One, she, in several aspects, has been moving heaven and earth trying to make nice with the administration. Why pick a fight on this one? Number two, as we talked about on the air, I think the last time we chatted, Frank, what if it works? What if it works? But to close the loop, criticism for these type of efforts by presidents usually those criticisms come after the fact. A good example, in the early 1990s, big push to have mandatory minimum sentences. Doesn't matter the circumstances of the defendant or the underlying crime, he or she was going to prison for a mandatory minimum. Well, with the benefit of hindsight, 25 years later, people look back and said, whoops, that was not a good idea. So we'll see how it all burbles through with the president's current initiatives.
There has been pushback on his idea to deploy the National Guard to Chicago, most notably by Governor Pritzker. Donald Trump on Monday responded saying, I would have the right to do anything I want to do. I'm the president of the United States. If I think our country is in danger, and it is in danger in these cities, I can do it. Your reaction?
He has said that before in other contexts. He said it back in 2016 and 2017 in the early part of his administration, Steve. So this is not an aha moment from our president. Couple of thoughts. One, just as a matter of basic constitutional law, the president's probably a little too far out over his skis on that. He can't do anything he wants. Having said that, in the context of national emergency space and our president's declaring national emergencies, their Article 2 presidential power gets supercharged. Therefore, in the context of sending the National Guard, federalizing the National Guard across the river and sending them onto the streets of Chicago, if he declares an emergency and exercises emergency powers to do that, if I'm at the betting window, Steve, I'm going to put a win, place, and show ticket that would be constitutional.
Another topic. So Putin attacked a kindergarten. He doesn't appear interested in ending a war at all, no matter what he says to Trump. What kind of sanctions against Russia could work? And I know Lindsey Graham has a bill out there, but do you think any severe economic sanctions could do anything, or are we just talking to the wrong guy? He's a killer and nothing's going to work?
I think it's probably closer to the latter. And a couple of thoughts there, Frank. One, if there was a magic potion sanction, wouldn't Biden or Trump or both have figured it out and levied it? Secondly, we hear talk about from President Trump himself that, if Putin doesn't make right within 2 weeks, I'm really going to sanction him. I don't know what that sanction would look like. Maybe it would deal with levying tariffs on other countries to raise the cost to Putin with respect to energy exports that are funding the war. But at this point, I think we're dealing with a leader who is hell-bent on restoring the greatness in his mind of the former Russian Empire, and sanctions are a little pebble in his tennis shoe. They're inconvenient, but I don't think they're going to stop him, Frank. He's going to have to be stopped militarily.
Another story that's made headlines in the last week or so: Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. Donald Trump saying he's going to fire her, remove her from her role earlier this week. She is fighting back and saying that he does not have the constitutional right to do so, the legal right to do so. Does she have a leg to stand on, and how do you see this playing out?
It's going to play out in the courts as it should. And let me make a couple of bolt-on comments. One, a lot of people are going to be really frustrated by both sides of this dispute with Fed Governor or former Fed Governor Cook. I get it. But let's all remember this simple fact. Resolution of that dispute is not taking place on the streets of America. It's taking place in our courts. That, Steve and Frank, is where it should take place, and we all ought to recognize that for what it is. Secondly, the Federal Reserve of the United States of America is not created by the Constitution in the late 1780s. It was created by statute. That statute was enacted by Congress back in the 19 teens. It has the mechanism by which a governor of the Fed can be fired. In this case, it's for cause, quote unquote. Well, if there is a sense among the American people that the basis upon which Governor Cook is being fired, that somehow that standard is wrong, that's not on Trump. That's not on the Fed. That's on Congress. They set the standard by which a Fed governor can be fired. And if the standard that a president, having been given that power, a president applying that standard in a way that there's a consensus in the Congress that that's not right, well, then they need to put their big boy and big girl panties on and change the statute.
Gut feel, how do you think it's going to unfold?
I think she loses. I think she loses not because Donald Trump is some presidential ogre in terms of Article 2 of the Constitution. It's because this standard for cause, it's not very high, Frank. That's for cause, not for willful and malicious misconduct, for high crimes and misdemeanors. Those higher standards, Congress didn't put those in place. So if I were to pick, I would say she probably loses.
Do you think that scenario would play out the same way if it's Fed Chairman Jerome Powell?
Yes, I do, Steve. I think because he would file a lawsuit, and I think it would be in the federal courts. And sure, there's ideological wins that go through the federal courts. But at the end of the day, applying the law to the facts, and again, the law and the standard cause that Congress has set, if Chairman Powell has engaged in conduct which rises up to that low standard cause, I think the president would be constitutionally and, in this case, statutorily justified if he chose to exercise that discretion to fire that person.
Another topic. Watching CNN, one of those panel shows, Ken Martin, the Democratic National Committee chairman, had the quote, "We have to rebuild our trust with the American people." But right now, it's the progressive wing driving the party. It's not Josh Shapiro. It's not John Fetterman. It's not the guy who you think is going to win, Rahm Emanuel. Where do you see the party as we speak? I know we're a long way away.
I guess my comment about his observation that he and his colleagues at the Democratic National Committee need to rebuild the party, it's right up there, Frank, with water is wet. We lawyers refer to that as axiomatic. Yes, the Democratic National Party, and I keep emphasizing the word national, somebody has got to break them out of their stupor in that what the Bernie Sanders, AOC, Kamala Harris wing of the party are selling, as we say up in the country, the American people ain't buying. They can continue, that wing of the party can continue to double down, but I think the party chairman's comment that you just quoted, Frank, is spot on, and we'll see whether they take action or whether they continue to wallow out there in the wilderness of the far left.
Final thought, did Keegan Bradley do the right thing, making him strictly the captain and not a player for the Ryder Cup?
He did. In the modern sports world, and sadly in modern America today, we don't often see examples of grace. What Keegan Bradley showed, particularly our children, my grandchildren, with his decision, Frank, which I applaud, he showed the sports world and the American people an act of grace. I tip my cap to the young man. He did a wonderful thing.
Yes, but I'm dead set on him playing. I'm going to sue to make sure he plays. Do I have a leg to stand on?
Well, let's see if there's a for cause. There's a for cause in the PGA Constitution.
We're almost at that point in America.
Oh, well, that's right. But no, I think we can safely say Keegan's decision is final.
By the way, did you hear that they're going to wear the old Cracker Barrel logo on their shirts here at the Ryder Cup? And then there's this lawsuit about that too. Which logo is going to be used?
In a country that has $40 trillion of debt, that is seeing yet again little children slaughtered in a school, in a church, and the cable news is obsessed with some old guy sitting next to a barrel on a logo or not. As Larry the Cable Guy would say, that ain't right.
Good to see you, sir. Thank you so much.
Great to be with both of you. Stay safe.
We'll take a short time out. Steve Savard, Frank Cusimano on the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
A legendary weekend is coming to the Lou. Don't miss the Stiefel Charity Classic presented by Compliance Solutions, September 4th through 7th at Norwood Hills Country Club. Watch PGA Tour champions compete and enjoy a live performance by music sensation OAR at Friday's community concert presented by CarShield. Tickets start at just $20. Kids, military, veterans, and first responders get in free. Get your tickets today at StiefelCharityClassic.com.
You know, over the years, Lordo's has become part of the family for many, many St. Louis families. For 80 years, they've been helping St. Louis families with all of the jewelry needs, whether it's the diamond ring, a diamond ring, maybe something for St. Patrick's Day, something for an anniversary, Valentine's Day. Throughout the years and throughout the calendar, it's Lordo's as your go-to. Whether it's men or women, you want to repurpose something or buy something new, Lordo's Diamonds in the heart of Ladue on Clayton Road. You see, it's a family business. The family's been running it for years, and they learned it from their father, who learned it from their father. And so that family jeweler, it's where generations of St. Louisans go. Grandparents have gone there. Your grandkids will go there. Right there in Ladue on Clayton Road, across the street from a Norman Rockwell-esque firehouse, is Lordo's Diamonds. Go in, make a friend, and make them your family jeweler, because you can thank me later. 314-432-8008 or online, lordosdiamonds.com.
It's Julie Buck here to tell you that the patio is open at Bishop's Post right next to Chesterfield Mall. Get your reservations in now and go to Bishop's Post. You will love it. Tell them Julie Buck sent you, bishopspost.com.
Experience your banking your way with Royal Banks of Missouri's interactive teller machines. No matter rain or shine, hot or cold, our friendly staff is there to provide real-time assistance through a live virtual session on our machines, even during evenings and on Saturdays. Visit an interactive teller machine at any Royal Banks location and just tap the screen to enjoy convenient, secure banking support. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
Inland Marine Boats in Barnhart has been serving your boating needs for 38 years. Hi, I'm Jim, and this is my son, Ryan.
Remember, you only get 18 summers with your kids.
Make the most of them with a boat from Inland Marine Boats, your Mercury Marine dealer.
Call the closer with Lauren Risley Realty every Sunday afternoon at 1. Powered by Homestead Financial Mortgage on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants. The cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at SimplySecureDentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or SimplySecureDentures.com.
All right. Welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Steve Savard is in the house. And I think people would want to know, I don't know if you discussed it yesterday, but you are in the transition process of coming back here full time. Tell our listening audience what's going on there.
Well, it's going to get real serious real fast. It's been real serious here, but we close on a house here Tuesday. We move next Tuesday. We close next Friday. So in transition here, I'll work tomorrow with you, head back to Springfield, still pack some stuff up, make sure we're ready to go, drive back up on Monday, spend 3 days filling in next week for McGraw in the morning show.
Oh,
and then drive back to Springfield on Thursday, and then we have moving day on Friday.
Wow.
And we'll be back to Springfield a couple of times. We're leasing the house. The market's not very good for home ownership down there at this point, but we're leasing the house, so we feel blessed about that.
And then what about like cutting ties with Springfield completely? Because I know you've enjoyed much of your time there, right?
It was an easy transition. It was close. It was. I say it like this: do I regret going down there? No, I had good reason for going down there. The contract and the situation that I went into, and it was 3 hours from family. It kept me close. Would I do it again? Probably not. Yeah. And that I adjusted very well. Everything ended on a very cordial nature. There were no hard feelings. It was always going to be a one and done situation.
And you also did play-by-play.
Well, yeah, I did about 7 games in the 2023 season. Art Haynes, the legendary broadcaster down there, great guy. The two guys who own that town in sports are Ned Reynolds and Art Haynes.
Is Ned
They're
still
guys.
on television?
No, occasionally he is on KY3, but he does the morning radio, and he's everywhere. He's the voice of every commercial. You see him pitching commercials for everybody. He's everywhere. But Art got sick with West Nile virus and inspired everyone with his fight through it, and he still is. He's retired now, but he couldn't travel. So I did 6 road games, and then I filled in for 1 game for him when he couldn't make it at home too. So that was the season of 2023. Yeah.
So the upgrade, St. Louis to Springfield, A would be restaurants, B would be professional.
You mean Springfield
sports.
to St. Louis?
Yeah.
Oh, I can tell you.
St. Louis.
Yeah, the restaurant. What I will miss is the convenience of Springfield. I miss our house. What I won't miss, the way people drive. Traffic in the inner part for a town that size is just laid out poorly. But the food options are it's not even close.
And then all of your family is here.
Right.
Yeah. And then probably 90% of your best friends are here, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's really going to be a great transition for you, isn't it? It's
It just feels, it's just, it always felt like it was an easy transition for me being down there. I'm a very adaptable, I'm a routine guy. If I can get in a routine anywhere, I'm fine. But I always felt like I was visiting, and now I feel like when I'm back here, this is home. And it's always been like that. It is home.
And I should know this, but mom and dad?
Passed, yeah.
Both passed.
Yeah, they've been gone for a while.
All right, let's take a short time out. When we come back, we're going to have the weekly special brought to you by our good friends at Kuna. He really is regarded as one of the great restaurateurs our town has ever known. He is Gerard Kraft. We'll be right back after this.
Let's go! You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Imagine feeling trapped, helpless, and afraid. That's what partner abuse creates. Alive is here to make sure that you get the help for yourself, your children, and your pets. Hi, this is Guy Phillips inviting you to participate in Alive's annual golf tournament and auction September 8th at the beautiful Legends Golf Course. Gather a foursome, sponsor a hole, or just make a donation. And all donations get a Missouri tax credit of 70%. Get all the information at alivestl.org. Together, we'll end the cycle of abuse.
Having a tough time paying your bills? Learn how to reduce your credit card debt to a fraction of what you owe. Call the Debt Helpline now for free advice. 800-329-9912. 800-329-9912.
What are you doing every day to support your liver? If you enjoy sweets, fast food, alcohol, or take any medications, that's a vital question to ask. Hi, I'm Sherry Torkas, pharmacist and health author. For over 30 years, I've helped people make informed decisions about their health, especially concerning prevention and long-term wellness. Supporting your liver isn't just a wellness trend, it's a daily essential. That's why I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. It's made with plant-based ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and globe artichoke, herbs clinically studied for their protective and restorative effects on the liver. Active Liver blends traditional herbal wisdom with modern scientific research. Not all supplements are created equal. I trust Active Liver because it's backed by science, meets strict quality standards, and delivers true daily liver support.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
Inland Marine Boats in Barnhart has been serving your boating needs for 38 years. Hi, I'm Ryan at Inland Marine, your Mercury Marine dealer. Remember, you only get 18 summers with your kids. Make the most of them with a boat. InlandMarineBoats.com.
Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20, 30 years ago. These medications actually work. They're injected once weekly, and patients see within the first 90 days 10 to 15 pounds down. It simply works, and that's why I recommend it to all of my patients. You simply go online, book an appointment. You fill out a health questionnaire form. You get an appointment on our schedule. It's all telemedicine based. It's all done from your home. And then you meet with me or one of my nurse practitioners. And then after the 10, 15-minute consult, the medication is delivered right to your door discreetly, and you get started right now on your weight loss journey.
And you want to start to lose weight? None better than to call STLMedWeightLoss.com and ask Dr. Joe. STLMedWeightLoss.com.
Mizzou football.
The rushing touchdown, and Missouri extends the lead.
KTRS AM, FM 106.1, K291CW St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Minneapolis reeling from the mass shooting yesterday inside a church at Annunciation Catholic School, and their community just starting the healing process. Coming together for a vigil last night, remembering the 8 and 10-year-old killed and when the shooter opened fire during the mass, along with 17 others injured. Victims taken to 4 hospitals across the Minneapolis area, including Hennepin Healthcare. Dr. Tom Clement, just one of the doctors, about the emotional day.
Our hearts go out to the folks that are directly affected.
The investigation into the attack now focusing on the shooter's motive. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis is on scene in Minneapolis.
Authorities say the shooter, identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman, born Robert Westman, died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound near the rear of the church.
And we're learning the assailant had ties with the church. Police say they believe the shooter attended the school, and according to an online post from the church, the suspect's mother worked there as recently as 2021.
Investigators say they're also reviewing social media and a YouTube video believed to be from the suspect, posted before the shooting, appearing to show someone looking at notes and drawings, including one depicting a church and pews. Federal Reserve Board Governor Lisa Cook filing a lawsuit challenging President Trump's attempt to fire her this week. Trump pointing to allegations Cook applied for mortgages on 2 properties, claiming both would be her primary residence.
The lawsuit doesn't refute the administration's allegations that Lisa Cook committed mortgage fraud, but it does refer to them as unproven and unsubstantiated. And it challenges the idea that the allegations alone can constitute cause for her firing. The suit suggests any cause for a Fed governor's firing should involve conduct in office. Cook applied for her mortgages in 2021 before she was appointed to the Fed by President Biden and confirmed not once but twice by the Senate.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy, you're listening to ABC News.
77 degrees at 11:02 with KTRS News. I'm Steve Potter. A new report from the state's auditor's office found that the Dome at America's Center is facing a $67 million shortfall for future maintenance needs. Missouri State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick released that audit report yesterday, citing inadequate funding for maintenance and weaknesses in financial oversight. A recent assessment for the Regional Convention and Sports Complex Authority, which operates the Dome, estimates $155 million in repairs will be needed over the next decades for proper upkeep. A new law takes effect today, which aims to phase out temp tags in Missouri.
Buyers have been allowed to use temp tags with the expectation to pay the vehicle sales tax and register their vehicle 30 days after purchase. However, some drivers opt to use a temp tag for the long term, paying any resulting tickets rather than the sales tax. Under the new law, vehicle buyers at dealerships would pay sales tax at the point of sale. In return, they'll receive a printed license plate to use until their permanent plates arrive by mail, eliminating the need for temp tags altogether. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
Meanwhile, a series of bills approved in this year's Missouri legislative session take effect today. Last fall, voters approved Prop A to expand sick leave benefits, requiring private employers to provide 1 hour of paid sick leave for every 30 hours worked and allowing employees to use the accrued leave time for other reasons. These obligations end when this legislation takes effect, repealing several provisions tied to guaranteed sick leave pay. In addition, while the legislation also keeps the state minimum wage at $13.75 per hour and extends that wage to public employers, it eliminates scheduled cost of living adjustments that were previously tied to the Consumer Price Index. A man who was arrested last week for the shooting death of an off-duty St. Louis Community College officer 17 years ago has been released from jail. Officials say that 46-year-old Brandon Levy was released after posting a $5,000 bond. He was charged with first-degree murder for the death of Florissant Valley campus officer Damon Taylor, who was shot and killed in June of 2008. Levy is scheduled for a bond hearing next Wednesday. And the St. Louis Zoo is celebrating the birth of some special cats.
The St. Louis Zoo is welcoming 2 Amur leopard cubs, one of the most critically endangered big cats in the world, with only around 100 remaining in the wild. In the upcoming weeks, veterinarians will conduct wellness checks, during which time their genders will be confirmed. The St. Louis Zoo says they'll wait until then to name the cubs. This is the second litter for the 7-year-old parents, Dot and Samson. Dot and the cubs will bond in private before they make their public debut. Samson can be seen in his habitat in big cat country, while Dot cares for the 2 new cubs. Sobe Bay, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. You can place your order anytime at WKF.com. Results of a study analyzing United States Census Bureau data on the number of new business formations in each state from January to May in 2025 has been released. Missouri is 25th in the United States for business formations, with a total of 39,553 formations between January and May of 2025. Time now for a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial, tuned to Straight Talk on Retirement Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. The Dow is down 8 points at 45,557. NASDAQ up 45 at 21,636. And the S&P 500 up 3 at 6,484. In sports, Mizzou football kicks off their season tonight with Central Arkansas coming to Columbia. You can catch all the action on your home for the Tigers, the Big 550, with pregame coverage starting here at 4:30 this afternoon. Our weather calls for mostly sunny skies today, an afternoon high near 84, mostly clear overnight with a low in the low 60s, then sunny tomorrow with a high of 87. At 11:06, we have sunshine, 77 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
And now,
Lead me see more.
I like to eat.
it's time for the Kuna Food Service Weekly Special.
Yum, 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 yum.
Right here on KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
All right, Frank Cusimano, Steve Savard. This is one of our favorite times of the week. We appreciate the great people from Kuna being a part of this. And we are joined by restaurant royalty. He is Gerard Kraft, the niche food group celebrating their 20-year anniversary. And more importantly, he is the chief flavor officer at City SC. Good to be with you, sir. How are you?
I'm great. I cannot help but laugh every single time I hear that title. It's great.
So the best thing about that Energizer Park is that they have like the best food of any stadium. And to get in there, to be a restaurateur, they got to go through you. You make the decision. You're like the mafia there. That must be a fun job, though.
Oh, it's an amazing job. Yeah, it's been such a cool experience. And, as we were putting together this program, myself and Matt Seebeck, who's the chief experience officer, we really wanted to lift up the St. Louis dining scene. And as we were going through this, it was COVID. And so, more so than ever, just, being able to give opportunities and shine a spotlight on some of the best local restaurants. It's been an incredible experience.
Do you feed the media as well on game day?
Occasionally.
Does the media eat the no? I'm getting an idea, real sense of why Cusimano's really so excited about attending
I don't think
City
we're
SC
eating,
games.
we're not eating your great food up there. I mean, it's solid. But
Yeah,
we're not eating your great food.
the chef of the stadium actually is a guy named Ben Groupie, who is, on his own is one of the best chefs in the city, but he runs kind of the premium areas and probably feeds you guys.
Yeah. All right, so 11 restaurants. Now, when you wake up in the morning, what do you decide to do? Do you go to the one that, these sales aren't good, I'm going there, or I'm not wild about what our chef's doing? How do you determine where you go? You got 11 options.
First, I ask myself why I did this. And then, once I'm done with that, I think, like any business, right? You have, things that are doing great, things that are, having a tough time, and, you focus your energy really where it's needed, So working through all of the restaurants in the morning, I look at shift notes that tell me what happened in every single restaurant the night before.
Oh, so you're like a president of baseball operations. You get the minor league report where you know what every player did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
You get the labor report, you get the sales report. You can see, some of the people that were in the night before. You can, see if there were any issues in the restaurant or, things that were done, extraordinarily well the night before. So, that's really where I start. And then, working with, the rest of the executive teams, when it comes to strategy and marketing and things like that.
Gerard Kraft of Niche Food Group with us here on the Frank and Jill Show. So we were always told that, look, you want to open a restaurant, people discourage you, say, no, you can't believe the hours you work. That's one restaurant. Okay, you're overseeing 11. How many hours a day are you actually on the job?
I mean, look, we have an extraordinary team, right? And
You'd have to.
That's the most
you absolutely
important.
have to have. You have to trust the people underneath.
Yeah.
You couldn't do this by
We have
yourself.
a large organization,
You're
over
still working a lot of hours.
over 400 people. Yes, I'm
400
working a lot of hours. But
That's like Cusimano's entourage on the weekends.
Now, I think one of your more famous
Oh, I'm
ones.
sorry, I didn't get the answer, though.
Yeah, go ahead, finish.
How many hours a day are you on the job? Are you on the phone or talking or thinking?
Some days you're just like working until you go to sleep. And then, some days you get off at 5 o'clock and have a beer. And, it just really depends day to day. It's it's definitely a 7-day-a-week job.
Yeah.
And you never know exactly what your schedule's going to be. It's really hard to make plans ever, but that's the life. That's what you sign up for.
Well, it's like when they asked Bill Marriott, the hotel empire genius, they said, what's the key to your success? He goes, I just work half days. That's 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
So, all right. So when people think of you, I think one of the first restaurants that pops up is Pastaria. Now, we had Jimmy Fiala from The Crossing in the other day, and he said he makes his own pasta and he makes his own bread, and he thought you make your own pasta?
Oh, yeah.
Now, that is a laborious process, and it's a little expensive. Tell me about that and why you've committed to that.
We make over 200 pounds of pasta every single day at Pastaria.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
At one restaurant?
At one restaurant. Yeah, and then we make pasta at Pastaria for our fast casual restaurant, Pirano, which is all fresh pasta.
Wow.
Over
and
there
the
as
thing
well.
about Pastaria, and at least initially, one of the reasons it exploded, food was really good, but you kept the prices relatively low.
Yeah. Yeah, which is harder and harder these days. What low is now is not what it used to be. I was just traveling in Utah, and my entrees were $45, and I was like, wow, times have really changed. But that has always been our goal at Pastaria, is for it to be kind of something that's accessible for everybody.
If I asked you for a signature dish of any of the restaurants, could you do it? Could you name it? Could you say, hey, this will be universally liked by people who want to eat this way, eat that way, try this, and you maybe come back to my restaurants a second time?
Oh, my God. Just one dish for all the restaurants? I mean, each restaurant has that dish.
All right, give me pastaria.
Okay.
And Pirano, for example.
Pastaria is something that everybody can eat and will like. I think starting with our dish, it's called aglio, olio e peperoncini, right? It's olive oil, garlic, and a little bit of chili. And I think it's one of the greatest dishes out there. Cacio e pepe is
dish, right,
probably more popular.
What's that?
It is kind of an emulsion of pasta water, pecorino, and Parmesan cheese with a lot of black pepper in it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How about Pirano?
Oh, at Pirano. I mean, like I go for rice bowls at Pirano.
You sound like you're talking my language.
Yeah,
here.
so we have arborio rice that we then you can top with. I top it with like pesto, roasted vegetables, little chicken, crispy garlic, and jardinera because I like that like spicy crunch.
Nice.
Gerard Kraft is with us. Fordo's, what would be your last pizza you would eat there?
So Fordo's, we just opened a new location inside of Urban Chestnut Brewery in the Grove. And over there, at the Foundry, we only do 12-inch pies. But over there, we do 12-inch and 18-inch pies and pizza by the slice. And Joe Lucky, our chef there, has been doing something he calls the New York Neapolitan. And it is pretty much like a cheese pizza. We use really good mozzarella with oregano and olive oil. And then I add a little chili flake to that. But there's something so classic and comforting about it. I can't stop eating.
You didn't grow up in a restaurant family. You don't come by it honestly here.
No.
What influenced you? Was there a meal? Was there a restaurant? Was there a show on TV that you thought, well, that's the lifestyle I want? What was it that made you get into
It's funny.
this?
They didn't have a lot of cooking shows back then, except for like Jacques Pepin and like great chefs of.
I go back to what was the Cajun guy, Igar on T from New Orleans.
What was his
Paul
name?
Prudhomme. Yes.
Yeah.
No, not Paul. It was a different guy. But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm older than you, so.
So I was at college to be a snowboard photographer in Utah.
And the dorm food was so bad that you said I could do better than this?
Very, very quickly, it wasn't working out for me in college. I just shouldn't have gone. And I took a job washing dishes at like a bar and grill. But they did pretty good food. It was more like a pool hall, like a nice pool hall with craft beers and stuff. And I was washing dishes, and they taught me how to like cook, minimally, of course. But I really just fell in love with the energy. So it had nothing to do with the food. It had everything to do with like the instant gratification. You come in, you prep, you cook, you clean, and it's just such a great experience. And the people were always great. It was a little pirate ship. I just instantly fell in love with that. It wasn't till later, until I went in and worked in France, that I really saw that I could do it as a career, because I saw some chefs kind of really thinking outside of the box and realizing that kind of once you learn the fundamentals, then you can kind of break all the rules, which as a young, rebellious, tattooed kid, I was all about.
So you received the highest honor you can with the James Beard Award. And I'm wondering about competition and how it's kind of like motivated you. Like when I was a young sportscaster in St. Louis and Steve would be just beating us every day, it motivated me to be better. And with you, Kevin Nation, I know you're friends with him, but he motivated you. He made you better, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So, Niche was a block away, maybe less, from Sydney Street Cafe. And Kevin Nashin, I think at first he was skeptical when he met me, but we quickly became friends. I think when he realized I was, a hardworking chef, and I think he respected that. And, we both would just kind of like start coming up with something new. And the other person was always trying to, one up that, right? We were always just, we were very close friends, still are. But that competition, I think, just kept pushing us to one up each other and to try to be better than the other. And I really credit that to the fact that the 2 James Beard Awards in this city both came off of Sydney Street Niche and Sydney Street Cafe.
All right, let's just say you want to go out for a nice evening in St. Louis. You can't go to one of your 11 establishments. Pick your restaurant. What would you order? Can't hedge.
Oh my God, this is always such a tough call. I think the place I end up quite a lot is Little Fox.
Oh,
kind of a creative neighborhood restaurant, and the food is definitely their own. It's unique and fun, but it's still comforting. These days I'm older. I don't necessarily like to eat too much experimental food, and this isn't. This is just fun and delicious and great service, great wine program. Yeah, it's one of many. There are so many restaurants I would go eat.
Do you make
including
other restaurant owners nervous when you walk in?
No.
Is there a standard for people? I mean, if you recognize, if you're working at a restaurant, you work at Pastaria, and somebody comes in and he's on your level as a chef and all that, does that motivate you? Is it?
I mean, I enjoy it. I
need
get
to raise your game
nervous,
here?
but I think that I'm really easy to please. I'm not a tough customer. I just go out. I like to eat. I'm usually pretty chill.
You a good tipper?
Absolutely. You have to be. Yeah.
2 quick things before I let you go. September 25th, that's going to be a big day for you?
Yeah, so September 25th, we are celebrating our 20th anniversary for Niche Food Group. We are celebrating at Expat Barbecue, our world barbecue spot over in the City Foundry. And it is going to be supporting a couple causes near and dear to my family's heart. One that supports research for eating disorders, which my daughter has had a long battle with, and also something that both of my children battle, which is a rare syndrome called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And there's not enough research for either of these things, which is why we're trying to raise money for it. And it causes more problems than you can count. It is a disorder of the connective tissue that affects your brain. It affects your joints and ligaments and muscles. It's an awful disorder that we really want to raise awareness about.
That's awesome. And then a quick word about Kuna. You've had a great relationship with them.
Yep. Eric Hammerstone over at Kuna is the best in the business when it comes to dishwashers and chemicals and things like that. Been the biggest fan for years.
Great to see you. Continued success. Thank you so much, Gerard Kraft.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a short time out. Frank and Steve will be right back after this.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer for Ryan Raphael, the Medicare Man. Are you turning 65, going on Medicare, or is retirement approaching, or do you know somebody or close to somebody in your life that is? It's time to set up a call with our friend Ryan Raphael, the Medicare Man. He is the man to call, knows how to make sure that you find exactly the information you need for Medicare. Sometimes it isn't time for you to sign up for something, or sometimes he'll tell you, hey, you're not a candidate right now because you are still working for a company and you don't have to sign up even though somebody gave you the misinformation that you had to. Ryan's the expert to go to for all the facts you need to make sure that you get the best plan for you and your spouse in this season of life. We know it's confusing, but luckily you have an expert who can help, and he is Ryan Raphael, the Medicare Man. And he can do it at no cost to you because under the law, the insurance companies pay his fees. Reach out to him today right on his cell phone at 314-368-6808, 314-368-6808, or visit MedicareManSTL.com.
It's Miller Furniture's Labor Day clearance event going on now through September 9th.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture and Mattress, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. Right now, you'll save up to 75% off our list price on all in-stock furniture and up to 50% off select custom orders at our Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville showrooms.
Plus, shop our Stickley galleries in Fairview Heights and Belleville and take 40% off MSRP on all in-stock and custom order Stickley furniture. We have new and fresh looks on display like flex steel leather reclining sofas with power headrests and lumbar support, or our unique heirloom quality Amish-made furniture.
Are you ready to sleep better and save big? Right now, save up to $800 on select adjustable mattress sets from Tempur-Pedic and Stearns & Foster. Or get half-price Chatham & Wells mattresses with the purchase of an adjustable base.
Don't miss our Labor Day clearance event going on now through September 9th. And check out Miller Furniture on Facebook for additional sales offers and new showroom arrivals.
At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
When you go and get your car washed, do you really care which car wash you go to? Yes, because not all car washes are created equal. Country Club Car Wash is the local family-owned and family-operated car wash since 1989. All these other ones that are popping up, they're all run by out-of-town hedge funds. Keep it local, keep it great. Touchless car washes, no brushes, inside and out. 5 area locations, Country Club Car Wash or cccwstl.com.
Hello, St. Louis. My family's been in the car business for almost 85 years, and I'm so proud to have 2 of my sons join the Londoff team. Together, we are continuing the Londoff commitment to great customer service. When you buy a vehicle from our family, you can be sure you'll get the best price and the best service. Are you kidding me? Price brings people in, but service keeps them coming back. Stop in today or shop 24/7 at Londoff.com. Everybody's a winner at Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Kick off football season like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Circa Sports Illinois. It's sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, low holds, exceptional customer service, and no bet fees ever. Other books may charge you just to get on the field, but with Circa Sports, every play is yours to call. Start betting like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Want a song?
Surround my mind like the sun on the radio.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550, KTRS.
All right, welcome back. Frank Cusimano with Steve Savard on the Big 550 KTRS. This is our Song of the Day and our Quote of the Day segment. And the Song of the Day comes from a young lady who will be performing tonight at the Fox. I believe you'll recognize the voice and song. Steve, have you seen her ever in person?
I have not.
I've seen her twice, and the last time was at the Fox.
You should identify her, though, for the folks who...
Oh, that's Diana Ross.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, somebody probably.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I didn't mean to tell you what to do on your own radio show, Frank. Excuse me.
I appreciate all the help I can get.
It's taking over.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
When I'm amazed,
That's
Steve,
tomorrow.
is when she's 80.
81.
81. When I saw her, I
Incredible.
guess she was 79 2 years ago at
Really?
the Fox. And just, I think, well, I'm not an expert on, a woman's voice or a singer's voice, I should say, but I thought it was almost as good as when I saw her like 10 years before. And for her to like make like at least 4 outfit changes in like a 90-minute, it's
point.
amazing. I always wonder how they, I'm always impressed with NASCAR and the way they change tires. And what do they just like take off the clothes, boom, put on?
Or like a Victoria's Secret show or whatever. Remember all that stuff behind the scenes and all. How do you get, and make sure that nothing is, you're still going to be PG-13.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Diana Ross has one of those. All her voice is just so unique. You can hear it everywhere.
It is, and that song was recorded in '75, released as a single in '76. It rose to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and Hot Selling Singles list. It also hit #1 on the disco charts. It was a big hit. Trying to pick out like a favorite Diana Ross song is like trying to choose a favorite child of yours. But that was one of the best. So thoughts on Diana Ross, come on aboard. Now, our quote of the day, I usually like to go humor, and Greg Warren, not to be confused with Greg Willard, was a state champion wrestler at Kirkwood, an All-American wrestler at the University of Missouri, and has had a fabulous career in comedy. I've seen him like 4 times, including a couple times right here at Westport. And before he left, he was selling peanut butter. And he left that business to become a comedian, and obviously some of his humor is now peanut butter related. Let's listen. All right. We can play him like nonstop and not worried about having to beep anything or getting in trouble with the FCC.
He's clean, huh?
Does not curse at all. So
you and I saw each other at a Sebastian Maniscalco concert
That's
about
right.
5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. Nothing better. And when the guy opening is every bit as funny as the main act, it's unbelievable. Back in the day, I bet you went to some John. I went to in St. Louis. I went to 4 different John Caponera. Remember John Caponera?
Yes.
One of the guys who had great sports themed comedy. John Caponera was
he
did the best Harry Carey of all time. Absolutely great. Yep.
I'm trying to think who else I've seen. You know who I saw was Brad Garrett. Robert from Ray Romano's Everybody Loves Raymond. He has a club in Las Vegas. And I've gone there, I guess, twice now. And, you wouldn't think it gets pretty dirty.
Yeah.
But it was really, really good.
You know who worked Blue back in the day from St. Louis? Red Fox. He was infamous for his, and so did LaWanda Page, who played Aunt Esther.
She had her own act?
Oh my God, that was her claim to fame. She was a stand-up comedian, and she was dirtier than Red Fox. And then she played the pious and upstanding Aunt Esther on Sanford and Son, which still to this day I love. I still will watch the first 2 or 3 seasons of Sanford and Son make me laugh out loud. But
Shady
they pushed the
Grady.
envelope on that.
They did.
They pushed the envelope on that show. If you go back and watch, there's stuff they say now they could not get away with.
I don't know if you've ever seen, and I think this is the hardest I've ever laughed at any comedy show ever, was Bert Kreischer. I saw him in New York.
Is he funny?
Oh, he is.
Because every roast I see, he's the unfunniest guy on the dais.
Yeah, I see him in roast on that. But when
But
he walked out there without the
takes
shirt
his
on,
Yeah, but how long does that last? Looking at the guy without a shirt
I
on.
think when he was heavier, he was like funnier because
Okay.
he did lose a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But gosh, the night I saw him, I thought he was just unbelievable. But yeah, I could see what you would think on the roast.
Maybe I haven't seen enough of him.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen too much of him, so.
Frank will get dressed up, spend money to go see Diana Ross, but won't stop on Clueless while flipping the channels. I haven't seen
Guilty
Clueless.
as
I'm sure
charged.
it's a fine movie. You had not seen it, right?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Diana Ross is at the Muni, I should say, not the Fox. I saw her at the Fox, but she's at the Muni tonight. And Connor, what did we determine on those tickets? I think they were kind of...
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's a little pricey, but it's like going to a concert at, one of the bigger venues, like $100 if you want to get in the door.
She's 81 years old performing outdoors in the middle of snow. She's taking a chance. Now, tonight's going to be great.
She got lucky.
She got lucky. It could be 100 degrees, and heat index of 110 over there.
Yeah, and it's not like she's wearing shorts and a T-shirt.
No, and she's 81 years old. I saw Willie Nelson. I wasn't a big Willie Nelson fan, but he was supposed to be with Merle Haggard in concert. My wife bought the family tickets. It was down at the Show Me Center at Cape Girardeau. We went down there. Merle had just died, and we thought they were going to cancel the concert. I was going just for one song, Working Man Blues, favorite country song.
One song, huh?
One song that those two guys were going to do together. But Willie at 80, and this was a few years ago, he didn't even finish. He'd say a couple words. He'd sing a couple words of every line and then let the audience finish. He was 80 and still touring. Can't imagine Diana Ross doing that by herself.
Yeah.
And doing it outside.
Well, just imagine, I remarked on this earlier because I went to the Muni last week to see Jersey Boys, and this young man who played Frankie Valli, to be able to know every word of every song and do it flawlessly.
I've always thought that.
It's amazing.
I've always thought that about every artist that puts on a show. How about Springsteen? He'd be on their stage sometimes for 2.5 hours. How do you not slip up? I mean, I guess it's just you've rehearsed it and done it so often in studio and in rehearsal that it's second nature. But I'm with you.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk golf and life with our friend Jay Delsing.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Temperatures ticking just a little higher today and Friday, but hey, we're still cooler than normal for late August, and humidity is still comfortably low. It's a mix of sunshine and clouds today, a high of 84, light breeze out of the west and southwest. Into the 70s this evening and mostly clear, very, very nice, down to 62 for the low early Friday in the city of St. Louis. 86 and partly cloudy for a warmer Friday, but the holiday weekend continues to look fantastic. We'll be dry with lows near 60 and highs in the low 80s. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer for Capital Advisory Group. Jeff Zufall and his team at Capital Advisory Group are so good at helping individuals like you and me make sure that we do not overpay on our taxes and that our money is growing for us in our wealth accounts, which means helping us to live the lifestyle we want in retirement. But one of the other things you may not know is that Jeff and his team are fantastic at helping small business owners maximize their profitability. Jeff and his team make sure that small business owners are getting the financial support they need. If you're a small business owner, you can do lots and lots of things. That goes with it if you run your business that way. But you may not be a detailed expert on things like taxes or on long-term profit growth strategy. And that's where Jeff Zufall and his team can really help you out. All you have to do is reach out to them at capitaladvisorygrp.com or 636 394-5524.
Imagine feeling trapped, helpless, and afraid. That's what partner abuse creates. Alive is here to make sure that you get the help for yourself, your children, and your pets. Hi, this is Guy Phillips inviting you to participate in Alive's annual golf tournament at auction, September 8th at the beautiful Legends Golf Course. Gather a foursome, sponsor a hole, or just make a donation. And all donations get a Missouri tax credit of 70%. Get all the information at alivestl.org. Together, we'll end the cycle of abuse.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country. When you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
Connect with a local divorce attorney today. Text LEGAL66 to 323232. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Looking for a new kitchen or bathroom? Call me, Anne-Marie Bogus, the co-host of the Inside Out Show and owner and designer of Anne-Marie Design Studio. Visit our website at annemariestudio.com. We can help you make your dream space a reality. We're a fine kitchen and bath boutique located in Wildwood. Our showroom phone number is 636-821-3395. And again, our website is annemariestudio.com. Let's turn your kitchen or bath into the dream reality with Anne-Marie Design Studio.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have two locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
All right, he is one of our most distinguished golf figures, the pride of St. Louis U High, an All-American at UCLA, and then a long career on the PGA Tour. He is Jay Delsing. He joins us now. Jay, great to be with you. How are you, sir?
Frank, good morning. And I've got to tell our listeners, if they didn't get to see your interview with Gary Player yesterday at Norwood, Gary was awesome. Your interview was fantastic. It had to be thrilling for you. It was awesome for me, and you just did a great job, man. That was fun.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. You are getting ready because you have to be at your best early next week. Tell our listening audience about this.
Yeah, I'm gonna qualify on Monday for the Stiefel Charity Classic. I am gonna be one of probably 50 golfers that'll be playing on the West Course at Norwood, and they take the low 3 score. So I got to get my butt in gear and make some birdies and shoot a good score so I can get in and play the tournament next week.
Jay, this is Steve Savard. I'm subbing here. Frank was out of options, so I joined him today, but I'm glad to have a chance to talk to you. Tell me, what do you think you got to shoot on Monday to be one of those 3 that gets into the Stiefel Charity Classic?
I would say it's got to be 68 or below, Sav. I think it's a lot depends on, I haven't done one of these qualifiers in years, but when I was doing them, it was usually right around the same thing. It was always somewhere around 4 under par. Was going to get you in the conversation. So I'm sure that hasn't changed much. But my idea is not really going to go out to shoot a score. I just have to try to get I haven't competed much. So the thing that I'm lacking most of is just the mentality that I need to have to play great golf. And so that's really what I'm kind of focusing on, getting my mind right and getting it in a place that's going to let me be relaxed and comfortable and play good golf. That's really what I'm working on.
Steve and I were talking earlier in our both very undistinguished golf careers about handling pressure, and it may be a dollar on the putt. But what was your potion for handling pressure?
You know, guys, really just breaking it down to what it is you like about what you're doing. I mean, it takes me back to, Frank, when we were kids. It's just, a kid with a stick and a ball. If I start thinking about, what the putt meant or what's on the line or things like that, I mean, I think it just adds to the pressure. I think for me, it's my dad told me a long time ago, son, don't think you hurt the team. And so it's really about see ball, hit ball. And what I mentioned to Savvy earlier is trying to get my mind just in that spot that lets me, play the way I want to, meaning, I'm relaxed. I'm not uptight. I'm not worried about possible results and things like that. And it's easier said than done when you really do care about where the ball goes. But in order to get it to be your best, it's more about the processes of getting into your targets and getting comfortable, being free, being relaxed, and then letting it rip, really.
I had a Mark McGuire flashback when you said, see the ball, hit the ball.
Yeah.
That was one of his great phrases. Hey, Jay Delsing with us here on the Frank and Jill Show. So we were talking, the whole thing about muscle memory when you're performing in front of people and you're not comfortable. Frank and I were talking about what it's like for us to tee off with just two groups waiting to tee off behind you. If 8 people are watching you play golf, at what point in your career did it not matter to you if one person was watching you or if 350 people were around the tee?
Oh, gosh.
Because I'm 61 and I'll never get there.
Yeah. Well, Steph, I think I must be a natural show-off because I can remember as a kid going, oh, man, these guys are going to go watch me pound this thing. I'm just going to stand up there and I'm just going to drill this thing down the fairway. And so that's kind of the way I always thought. So playing in front of people. Now, once the crowd started getting bigger and things like that, it got a little intimidating at first because I was wild as hell off the tee. And I'm like, gosh, I could kill somebody out here. Because that ball, I've been hit with that ball before. It's not pleasant. But it's just kind of really that mentality. And the people, as I look at it now and people come to watch, it's more of like being in the entertainment business. And I really want to try to put on a good show for them and maybe give them something memorable that they can take away. That's kind of the way I think about it now.
Let's talk tempo, because nobody, unless they're really, really good, can really go after it hard because bad things can happen. But if you try to be too conscious of tempo, then all of a sudden you're not getting through it and the ball's going right. I mean, that fine line is just so unbelievable. And that's probably why we love golf, because at times it's just unconquerable.
Oh, Frank, 100%. It's like we're all renting it just for a short period of time, and then someone takes it away from us again. And you're seeing that with the best players in the world. I mean, how about Scotty Scheffler stood up on the first tee on Sunday and hit his first drive onto the street? So it happens to all of us. So I think the idea, we all have this natural built-in cadence in our swing. And I think that's what when you hear guys talk about processes and getting into the things that they need to do well, that's plugging into that sort of stuff. Those are the feels that make sense to them. Those are the feels that work to them, that if they do this, this is going to work out well and things like that. That's what we're focusing on, because if I'm sitting there with a wedge in my hand and I need to hit this 123 yards, I know what 123 yards feels like. So now it's a matter of how do I get myself in that position to execute that, because I only get one chance. And that's what makes it fun. It makes it maddening. And that's where the drinking and the swearing comes in too, boys. I mean, let's be honest.
Jay Delsing, this is going to be a great field in the Stiefel Charity Classic. It always is. Last year, Y.E. Yang beat Bernhard Langer in a playoff. Bernhard Langer is – some guys have found the fountain of youth. He's 68 years old. He's owned that tour for how long? Now Miguel Angel Jimenez has come out of – he's 61. He's the leading money winner. What is going on with these guys in their 60s? Usually that's when you start dialing back your effectiveness in winning tournaments. But what's going on the Champions Tour at this point with these guys?
Well, it's so true. I mean, I wish I knew, Sav. I mean, I'm working out. I'm trying to get up every day to keep the old man away, and these guys are going low and and still playing great golf. It's remarkable. I mean, I think they've gotten so dialed in on what they need to do to play well that they're at this remarkable spot where they've got a lot of money. They don't really care that much about that, and they've got their field dialed in where, that's all they're concerned with. Bernard Langer's like a machine. I mean, he is so economical with his golf game. He saves so many shots around the course every single day. I remember the first time I played with him, I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to beat this guy? Because he's just meticulous. He takes his time. He just doesn't waste any shots. And, some days my golf game looks like a yard sale out there. There's just stuff everywhere.
All right, you got 30 seconds left. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Gary Player. You're playing match play, and you have to win the match to save the world from communism. You get to take one partner in the history of golf. Is it Jack or is it Tiger? You can't hedge.
That was a great question, and I got to tell you, here's the answer I'm going to give you. I'm going to tell you that Jack is going to go down as the best player in the world from the record standpoint, but Tiger was a better player because Tiger won almost 25% of the tournaments that he entered, guys. And Jack's winning percentage was about 10. And so I would probably, I just wrote a book, Frank, as you know, and Jack Nicklaus wrote the introduction. So I'm taking that back. I'm taking the great Jack Nicklaus. He's my man.
You're the best. I'll see you out there. We'll be pulling for you on Monday, Jay. Hit him straight. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you guys. Great talking to you, Seth.
All right, same here, Jay.
All right.
Good luck.
That is the one and only Jay Delsing. My wife has called to correct me about Diana Ross. She's at the Muni. Thank you so much. All right, Monique, get off my back. We'll take a short time out. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS with Steve Savard.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer. I've been a customer of Woods Basement Systems for about 25 years now. I can't believe it's actually been that long. Why did I choose Woods? Well, back when I was a consumer reporter, I was always looking for the companies that had the best Better Business Bureau ratings in St. Louis, and I knew they would take care of their customers no matter what. And that's what Woods Basement Systems continues to do today. They can handle all kinds of issues as it relates to water in your basement. They can deal with what they call half-wall restoration if you need help finishing that part of the basement that got ruined by water and mold from all that spring rain we had. They have all kinds of solutions for all kinds of problems that are very prevalent here in St. Louis just by the nature of our weather and the amount of rain we get this time of year. Reach out to them today to set up that appointment to see how they can solve your basement waterproofing issues. 618-708-4055 or woodsbasementsystems.com.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSOL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu. Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
You know what they say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and windows and doors are usually that first impression when it comes to your home. Dalco Home Remodeling custom makes their windows and doors, and better yet, they make them here in Missouri. Dalco Home Remodeling is locally and family owned, celebrating 50 years, so they know a thing or two. The Dalco team is known for quality and customer satisfaction. That's the way it was 50 years ago when they started, and that's still true today. So if you're looking to change the look of your home without breaking the bank, call Dalco Home Remodeling. They do free in-home estimates. Just call 314-298-7300 and make an appointment. You can also check them out online at dalcohomeremodeling.com. As they've always said, if you buy somewhere else and find out how much you could have saved at Dalco, you'll blow your stack. So call Dalco first, 314-298-7300.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
Repairing chimneys, walkways, porches, foundations, entire homes, anything to do with brick or stone, you need a tuck pointer you can trust, and that, of course, is Morelli. Morelli is a family-run business started in 1991, and they're only as good as their last customer. That's why when you check out the reviews online at MorelliTuckPointing.com, you'll notice that they're actual customers who are singing the praises of Morelli. So if you need a tuck pointer, you need Morelli. 314-645-1387 or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Many hometown HVAC companies are looking for your business, but some have lost focus. They now do plumbing, electrical, and other specialties. Missouri Furnace and Air Conditioning is locally owned as well, and we know what we do best: repair and replace furnaces and air conditioners. We've served the St. Louis area since 1962. Let us check out your system before bad weather gets here. We service all brands with 24/7 emergency service. Your Rude Pro partner, Missouri Furnace and Air. MissouriFurnace.com. 314-877 Cool.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
Jewels on Hampton pay some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, gemstones, coins, collectibles, and sports memorabilia. JewelsOnHampton.com.
The Bommarito Automotive Group is Missouri's #1 automotive group. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them online today, see their entire inventory at Bommarito.com.
Speaking of Bommarito, Steve, I don't know how you feel, but I really enjoy the car buying experience. I love going back and forth. And at Bommarito, they're just great people, but I'm in the middle of this right now, and I just love the experience. How about yourself? Do you?
New car?
Yeah.
I could test drive a new car every single day of my life.
Yeah.
I see a new one I like every single day. They're like a shiny object.
Do you haggle? Is that what you're saying, Frank? You kind of
yeah,
he doesn't have to.
You know, not at Bommarito.
He doesn't have to.
You know, if he wasn't Frank Cusimano.
On the trade-in, come on, that car's worth a little bit more than that. Then I'll go online and see what that car is getting exactly online, and say, well, look, I could get this for this. Well, okay, maybe
The whole situation of buying a car is a whole lot different than it was when we were Connor's age.
Yes.
Before we had the internet, before you could do research and everything else, you come with it was just a.
You mean before you knew what things were worth?
Yes, that's one of the advantages now.
I told you my only cool car when I was a kid, because I really didn't. I drove the Kemal's wagon, the produce wagon, for a couple years before I got a car. But I got a Mazda RX-7. Went to Bommarito in Ellisville. I had a check for exactly $7,000. My dad didn't have to pay for college. He said, "This is your college." And I went there, and Dad said, they're asking $8. You give them that check for $7, and you people are prepared to walk out of there. And I remember I said, "This is what I can afford for this car." They said, "Well, we're asking $8. I'm sorry." And I walked out, and I'm saying, "Please come back, say something to me, say something to me." I'm walking out. I'm just, all right, come on back here for a second. We made a deal.
My first car, before my senior year in college, Mitsubishi Mighty Max pickup truck.
Ooh.
No air conditioning, 5-speed, no radio in it. $136 a month lease.
Oh my gosh.
And me and my roommate, who was another linebacker, when we were in the cab, single cab, you could not see from behind to the front windshield. We were shoulder to shoulder. That was my first truck, and I loved it.
Did you say air conditioning?
No air conditioning.
No air, maybe an AM radio? Or
Not even a radio in that one.
Wait.
I had air conditioning in my second truck. Was a Mazda B2200. Had air conditioning.
So if you would drive there was no
drove it from St. Louis to Billings, Montana, for my first TV job.
Wow, that is crazy. Oh my God.
Well, that's how the other half lives, Frank.
Yes. Yeah, you poor guy. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the program. John Carney, Julie Buck coming up next. Tomorrow, Lynn Venhouse, Howard Richards among our guests. We'll take a break. We'll be back in 22 hours.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down.